all day at work.
I love listening at work.
I feel like having a great day.
101.5 FM and 1390 AM. WOHS Shelby, the boss.
You hear them pads going clack, 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 clack. You hear them clicks going tap, 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 tap.
704 beats by Alex J.
Yeah. First and 10. We in the trenches. You like the water cooler. You be on the benches. Think your team better, but they lack skill. First snap, I leave your backs in the backfield. Your quarterback scared, I see it in his eyes. Sit the receiver in motion, that's just a disguise. My linebackers, they stepping up. Clog a hole, no letting up. Taking on no big blocks. On fourth down, we get big stops. My secondary is balling out. Your offense keeps stalling out. How many yards? Like none at all. Come special teams, don't punt the ball and it's gone. And you never see me fair catch. I get a block and then I'm gone like a Lear jet. My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining.
And welcome all of our listeners and Terry Ryan. I'm glad you could join us right now, Terry.
Well, some of us are
Very
yes.
I want to welcome all of our listeners to the Witherspoon Insurance Agency pregame show. Shannon Allen, Terry Reinhardt, and myself, Hunter Yancey, bringing you. Oh, is this on? Can you hear me in there, Calvin? All right, cool. I was about to say, I think I might have forgotten to press the button. That would have been an awkward intro.
Yeah, well,
really
you know,
quiet.
you just talk.
Really quiet.
Been used to it.
Yeah, we're used to it. It's not like it hasn't happened before, but it's another Friday night. Got some more Friday night football to bring you guys here in a couple hours. We're going to go over some of the games to look forward to tonight. Do you know, Terry, how we did on our pick'ems last week?
Yeah,
You know?
I was 16 and 0.
You a lying
What?
dog.
That is
No,
it.
no
Oh,
way
did I
you
miss
were-
one?
You had to
Yeah.
miss a couple.
I believe that is. I've not counted up to see how we did in total.
Well, I know
last
we
week.
all miss North Lincoln.
Yes, and we can talk about that too at some point during the show. I was there.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised.
You
that
want to
we
go
missed
over
the
last
North
week's
Lincoln.
games?
Yeah, do the scores, because that'd be
Yeah.
good.
I do have them right
Yeah,
here.
go. Yeah, well then, Terry, you
That's
take the
right.
lead on this one. We'll go over the scores from last Friday night.
That's what I'll do. Friday, August 23rd, it was Ashbrook and Green Hope. That game is canceled, will not be made up, so don't look for that in the future. Kings Mountain had no trouble with Burns, 34-6. And I guess the biggest thing in that I saw, and Hunter, you also, was Pryor was pretty much held in check. I think he ended up with, less than 15 yards?
Yeah, he didn't have many at all. Yeah, they pretty much just shut him completely down. I mean, it wasn't that he got a big run at the end. You'd think, well, he's going to break one. Here in a minute, he's going to break one. He's so good. They shut him off. It's like they just turned him off. Like he wasn't even a factor anywhere.
Yeah, the defensive line was spectacular to me for Kings Mountain. I watched some of the stream back home. Tom and them down at Burns were calling a great game. And Burns had some moments on defense, though, where they showed some speed, but Kings Mountain is just so balanced. It didn't matter whether they got in the backfield or not. They have receivers everywhere. That's what I noticed. It wasn't just the Kobe Pace Hour show. They had receivers all over the place that Ethan Reed could throw to.
Yeah.
And it was Crest over South Point 13-7. I think a lot of us maybe had figured maybe a little bit more, maybe in the 20s, but not this low of a score, 13-7. It was North Gaston squeaking by East Gaston.
I told you it'd win.
Y'all thought that was going to be easy. North Gaston 21, East Gaston 14. East Gaston, hey man, I had you all the way to the end. I thought I was going to pull a big one there. It was Northwest Cabarrus 41, Forest View 3. Here's the one that surprised me the most. Providence Day 17, Mountain Island Charter 0.
0, yeah.
And, you know, there's something that I must be missing with all the weapons that Mountain Island Charter has, and then 0.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, okay, Providence Day, you know, they're that private school there in Charlotte, so maybe they've got some, you know, some players coming in from all over the place, but again, I agree with you with the weapons that they have. I mean, you got Burris, one of the top running backs in not just the state. Some people say he's the top in the Southeast, and he is. I mean, that's your bread and butter. And I mean, it was like, again, was he even a factor?
Well, I know we heard. I think it was last Saturday that the quarterback Washington did not play.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I know that's a big factor in the game, but
Right.
you figure even with a backup, they would have at least scored. I mean, that's
Exactly.
other games around the area. It was Newton Conover 44, Bunker Hill 14. It was Maiden 48, Fred T. Ford 24. Maiden jumped out 41 to nothing in that game to make no factor. It was Chase defeating Bessemer City 28 to 10. Impressive win for the Chase Trojans. It was East Burke 41, Highland Tech 6. It was Stuart Kramer, and this is one Stuart Kramer 10, Lincoln 7. You know what a game there. It was Parkwood over North Lincoln 29-22. Shelby no trouble with Freedom 41 to 13. West Lincoln rolls over Drone 52 to 13. It was Bandy's defeating St. Stephen's 36 to 14, and we talked about the running back from Bandy's. It might not be a one factor this year. They've got two guys that's in that back.
Who are the running backs? I know you said Howard's gone, right?
Yeah,
So
Howard is gone.
do you know who? I mean, it probably doesn't matter now. We can talk
Williams
about.
is one of the guys I know.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of the other guy run for like 160 some yards. Isaiah Gilchrist.
Gilchrist.
You
Okay.
know, had 171 yards to be
wow.
exact. So I mean, maybe they're gonna do it with a double backfield. You know, Statesville 40, Hickory 6. A game that was close at halftime, but then Statesville come out and rolled up with 28 unanswered points in the third quarter to blow that one open. It was Alexander Central defeating High Brighton 28 to 19. North Buncombe 62, Patton 20. West Iredale 42, Atkins 0. Watauga 50, TC Roberson 21. South Caldwell 60, West Caldwell 7. Going to be a long year up there at West Caldwell. It was RS Central 20, McDowell 12. RS Central, the number one team in our poll this week. It was South Lake Christian 55, Lake Norman Charter 16. Cherryville over Christ the King in a conference game 43 to 20. It was West Henderson 56, East Rutherford 42. And it was Pine Lake Prep defeating Quality Ed Academy 46 to nothing. The Fighting Pharaohs out of Quality
Is that
Ed
the old Q Foundation? Would that be the Q Foundation? Is that them, or are they still around?
They're out of Winston-Salem.
Okay.
Those
So-
are last week's scores.
Last week's scores. We got a bunch of games to bring you this week. We'll just go over what's on the board. At 7:30 tonight, audio only. It's going to be on WOHS. It is going to be the Crest Chargers and TC Roberson.
The Rams.
It's going to be the Rams, TC Roberson, and Crest Chargers. Another game, audio only. East Rutherford at North Lincoln. I don't know if you guys have been told. I will actually be dipping out of here at 6:15 because I have to go call that game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm on double duty tonight. I have to go and help Ken Link out there call that game back at North Lincoln, so I'll head back up that way into Lincoln County. So East Rutherford and North Lincoln is audio only, WLON 1050 AM. On WCSL, it is Cherryville at Chase. So Cherryville will be playing at Chase. Those are audio only games. For our watch live on YouTube games, 7:30 tonight, AC Reynolds and Shelby. They will be matching up together. On the WOHS YouTube, Kings Mountain and Monroe. I just got off the phone with Kevin. He's heading to Monroe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good.
that's where he's heading.
That'd be a good ball game.
And then on the Burns Bulldogs YouTube channel, Asheville will be playing at Burns. So it's a matchup there for Burns against Asheville. That was one we said that they needed to watch. We were going over their schedule last week because we know they opened up with a dogfight against Kings Mountain, against a powerhouse like that, and it doesn't look to be any easier as the weeks go forward.
This is a game here that I thought Burns may be able to pull this one out, and I do think it'll be closer than what they had last week. But this Asheville team is not bad. Their defense is very strong.
Yeah.
You know.
And then other games from around the area at 7:30. Ashbrook will be taking on A.L. Brown. East Lincoln will be facing East Rowan. Forest View and Clover will be a matchup. Hunter Huss, after a week 1 bye, same with East Lincoln, they had a week 1 bye. After a week 1 bye, Hunter Huss will be taking on Rocky Ridge, so their seasons will begin tonight. Highland Tech will be facing Commonwealth. Lincolnton will be playing South Point. North Gaston will be playing against Polk County, and Stuart Kramer will be matched up against Catawba Ridge. So those are the games that are on tonight. That's a lot of football to be played. And we got some really good matchups to talk about tonight. I can go over one of the scores that you gave last week. I can go over the game that I covered because it was delayed from that Friday night to Saturday due to lightning. It was the North Lincoln Parkwood, and that was the one where we all three picked North Lincoln, and not a single one of us got it right.
It was a game that I felt like Nick Basil's got the same group almost back.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you're going to Parkwood. Parkwood, I think, been like 2-9 or 6-6 the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And not really. I thought North Lincoln would go down there. Maybe we're giving them too much credit too quick, on kind of what type of season they had last year.
Yeah.
And I know every year, and just, Shannon, you know as well I do, every year in high school football, basketball, soccer, whatever, you lose players, and maybe it's key players that you lost. And I know Gribbs was a big guy to lose for North Lincoln, but Cerusse, I think, is the guy in the backfield now. I mean, is he going to be able? You saw the game. Is he going to be able to carry the load for them?
Well, Shannon, do you have anything to say about the game before I go into it?
I used to live about 2 minutes from Parkwood High School. I lived in Monroe for about 10 years. And that, when you think of Parkwood, it would, back then, okay, you would think of a West Lincoln or a Burns, big, strong country boys, and they're just going to run it right down your throat.
Yeah.
That's the type of football that, now, I don't know what they play now, but that was the type of football they played.
The majority of the
then.
game, they kept the ball on the ground.
On the ground.
They kept it on the ground.
The dynamics, hey, you want to say this, the clientele, I think, has changed down there a little bit. You've got some more speed, maybe, that has, they fluctuate because Union County schools are exploding because they have one on about every corner down there now. And so you've had people get, they're moving away from the city of Monroe, okay? They're moving out. And so Parkwood may be a little, they may be a little better than that 2-9 record. I mean, they play some stout competition down there, and it could be that North Lincoln maybe they just ran into a handle. Something they just couldn't, maybe thought, well, this would be an easy win because we all thought it. Hey, they got no problem. They'll win by 40 down there. And but what do you think, Hunter? What do you see from it?
I have to be nice about it because, of course, it's the first game of the season, and like I said, I thought the South Fork was North Lincoln's to lose. Yeah. To me, after what I saw against Parkwood, there's no guarantee that they'll even win it, and unless Basil switched up something all this week, personnel-wise and game plan-wise, for East Rutherford. And the reason I put it is that, and Kevin can attest to me, I think they're running the triple option. That's obviously the offense he likes to run. I don't think he has personnel in the right positions. They were running a fullback dive with a kid who's 5'7", 155 pounds. He was very tiny. Now, he would get the moments, in the triple option. There's always the moment you can get the big playability, maybe a breakaway. It just wasn't happening because, like Shannon said, Parkwood, they had some pretty good size on them. They were pretty decent-sized boys.
Well, let me ask you this, Hunter. I mean, at halftime, it was 14-0 Parkwood.
Oh, absolutely.
What did they do in the second half?
I can tell you, North Lincoln popped him in the mouth with a 50-yard run by Cerusse, and that shifted the momentum. And I will say this, and this is a good thing, and I was hoping North Lincoln saw it and took it as constructive criticism if anybody even listened to our stream over again. When they hit the outside, they had enough speed to get past Parkwood. But Basil, there was something about his play, or I'm not even going to put it all on Basil. It's rude of me. Whoever the offensive coordinator was, for some reason, they kept wanting to try and jam it up the middle. And it just, like everybody says, you might have more negative yardage running triple option than positive yardage, but it's the big one that gets out. And that's what they did. They just ran into really a brick wall in the trenches trying to run that same fullback dive, and really that is what cost them the game, because the game went to overtime. Parkwood has got a quarterback, and I'll say this about Parkwood. If you're going to compare the two, what I saw, and Kevin can attest this as well, the quarterback, he was a monster. I mean, he was like 6'1", 6'2", really stocky. He's pretty strong. and he was that whole offense.
It was
He-
North Lincoln's whole.
No, he
No,
was
Parkwood.
Parkwood's. He was
Okay.
Parkwood's whole offense.
No.
They would run him, and he would let him throw it, and they let him throw the ball more than North Lincoln did. And so with that, I'll say I think Parkwood was a little bit more quote unquote balanced of an offense. They had more offensive weapons that they could go to. He threw a pretty back shoulder corner touchdown. I'm surprised they didn't let him throw it more throughout the game. But what really cost North Lincoln was overtime, and I like how they do the overtime rules. It's the first time I ever saw an overtime game in high school. They do it like college.
Yeah.
Yeah, both team gets a chance to score on off. I think that's how the professionals go, but that's neither here nor there. And they start at the 10-yard line. Well, Parkwood had no problem with that big quarterback letting him do quarterback keeper or like a direct snap to him, and it's a quarterback run, quarterback draw every time.
So basically, as he goes, Parkwood's going to go.
Yeah, that's probably right. And North Lincoln, I wrote it down on here. They ran the same fullback dive 4 times trying to score, and they just didn't get close either time.
Wow.
And see, that was what was odd. Is you saw it didn't work the first time, you saw it didn't work the second time, you saw it didn't work the third time, and you tried it again, and they might have better success with it, but for me, personnel wise, I don't think, and I don't know who else they have at the running back position, or who they want to play at the fullback, but his size, again, like I say, he was listed at 5'7", like just over 150 pounds.
Now, did Beard get hurt?
No.
I mean, I keep hearing
No.
info, and I'm just, you always say stuff. And
Right.
like I said, it's always hearsay stuff. But somebody told me that Beard might not play tonight.
If he did get hurt, it must have been something through the week, because in that game, he didn't look hurt at all. He played. He had a couple of scrambles. One of the times that they scored on as well, because I was going to say this too, they let the Parkwood quarterback throw it maybe 12 to 13 times. They only let Beard throw it 3 times, and he was 3 for 3. Yeah, he was 3 for 3, and one of them was a big shot to Sam Brady down the center of the field on the tight end position, and that set him up close for a touchdown. I don't know if it was the first game of the season. It's still a long season, but just what I saw, if that's the offense that they're hoping to run with that same personnel, I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be. I have to retract my statement saying this is North Lincoln's conference to lose.
And it's one of those things. Think about it last year.
Mhm.
When we started last year, I think it was Thomas Jefferson that
Yeah.
went and knocked North Lincoln off to
Right.
start the year.
Mm-hmm. And then they went on a great run.
Yeah, they did. I mean, so you take the year and you throw the guys out there and you see what happens. And don't get me wrong, Nick Basil was just fantastic at changing things.
Yeah, and see
for his team.
that's why I had to take it back and say I can't put it all on him, but just the play calling, that's why to me it's if tonight maybe I'll see something when I'm calling the game personnel wise that they changed up, and like I said, they had success 3 for 3 through the air with Beard.
Well,
so.
maybe they were trying something too with it just being their first game. We're just going to see if it works.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just getting ready for conference and
Yeah.
Seeing what works, and
some
you
people
never
might
know.
feel that way. It's
Yeah.
not conference play. We'll go out there and we'll try something, and if it doesn't work, we'll come back the next week and.
But it still
and-
counts. I mean, it still counts overall in the
yeah,
record, as
yeah.
far as playoffs go. But it's just that's odd, especially 4 straight downs.
It
everything.
was odd, and it was. They had to have run that fullback dive at least 12 to 13 times that game.
Yeah.
Did you have
So-
any outstanding players last week that we want to mention before we go to break?
We had in the North Lincoln game that we had, we gave player of the game to Cerus on the offensive side of the ball because he had the large 50-plus yard breakaway touchdown that they had. So I'll give a shout out to North Lincoln Cerus, who will be playing tonight.
I'm just going to say this: Shelby the starting running back, Donnie Fuller. He's been out. He hurt his shoulder at the jamboree. So Odoms and I think it's Odoms and another guy that's filled in for him. And they had a big game last week. So shout out to those guys.
And I'm going to give it Cannon Bridges from West Lincoln. He carried 13 times, 269 yards, and 5 touchdowns in the first half last week.
Oh wow!
There you go. So those were some of the
Stud.
stuff
Yeah.
we looked at that happened last Friday night When we come back from the break, though, we're going to go into some of the stuff we have to look forward to tonight in high school football in the area. And you're listening to KTCBroadcasting.com.
Since 1986, Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby has been serving families across Shelby and Cleveland County. And today, Wayne Witherspoon continues the tradition of bringing you the best insurance at the best possible price. With names like The Hartford, Safeco, Progressive, National General, and Travelers. Drop by the office today at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby and talk with one of their friendly hometown agents. Witherspoon Insurance Agency, your independent insurance agency since 1986.
Gamble's Auto Service at 104 South DeKalb Street in Uptown Shelby is your one-stop service center for repair work on your auto. Locally owned and operated since 1980, they offer light and medium automotive repair on all types of vehicles. Bill Gamble and his friendly staff can do state inspections, minor engine repair work, brakes, air conditioning, and heating service, timing belts, tune-ups, and oil changes, and lubrication. And now Gamble sells new and used tires. Stop by and let Gamble's Auto Service take care of your automotive repairs and servicing. That's Gamble's Auto Service, 104 South DeKalb Street, Uptown Shelby. Call 704-487-5079.
Tyler Reddick diving to the inside of Daniel Hemrick.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series.
That battle continues to flare up in the middle of 3 and 4.
It's NASCAR's Throwback Weekend.
He'll slide up in front of him midway between turns 1 and 2.
But NASCAR's Next Generation.
Crossover move by Tyler Reddick.
Is preparing for the playoffs.
He's back to the inside off turn 2.
The Sport Clips Haircuts VFW 200 from Darlington. Saturday at 3:30 on the Motor Racing Network.
The Sports Clips Haircuts VFW 200. Saturday afternoon at 3:30 on Carolina Country WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com. Winter weather can be rough on your car. Now, we've always thought of S&R Auto Sales in Shelby as your pre-owned vehicle headquarters, but don't forget about the S&R Auto Sales detail shop. Pickup and delivery is available. Take it from me. They'll do the best job ever, inside and out. For your next vehicle, see S&R Auto Sales in Shelby and keep your car looking great with a visit to the S&R Auto Sales Detail Shop, both located at 417 South Post Road in Shelby.
Do you have a loved one whose limited mobility keeps them from doing things they want to do? If so, the Jazzy Power Chair at Medical Arts Pharmacy may be the solution. The Jazzy can give back independence. It's comfortable, easy to operate, and turns on a dime, making it easy to navigate through tight spaces. The staff at Medical Arts can tell you how qualified recipients can get the Jazzy for little or no cost with Medicare and insurance. Call 704-487-0557 or come by Medical Arts Pharmacy, 108 Grover Street, Shelby.
For over 100 years, the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home in Falston has been providing services to families of our community with care and compassion. And now the Stamey Funeral Home has added the Cremation Center along with a new name, the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home and Cremation Center. The Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home and Cremation Center on Highway 182 in Falston, and the Stamey Funeral Home in Cherryville, located on Dixie Street in Cherryville, serving you with care and compassion in your time of need.
You hear them pads going click, 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 click. You hear them clicks going
704 beats by Alex J.
Yeah.
Insurance Agency
Win.
pregame show.
Win.
You wanting to win, Terry?
Yes.
Hey, Clemson won last night there.
Clemson
You
did.
said, yeah, exactly.
Clemson did win.
Exactly.
I didn't get to watch it, but Clemson did.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And that's neither here nor there.
You'll get to talk about tomorrow.
I
when
will.
you raise Cain.
Tomorrow morning, I will raise Cain. There are two things I got to do tomorrow morning. I got to raise Cain about that, and then I'm gonna need a little bit of time to give a special shout out, and I'm gonna need JP to cut it down and send it to me so I can send it to the gentleman, give him a special shout out on his major league debut. That's neither here nor there, though.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yep. So we just went over one of the games from last week, and we also went over the scores from last week. So now we get to go into the fun part, which is tonight's games, and we get to, preview tonight's games. What are some of them that we get to look forward to? You guys are going to have to do your pick-ems, I guess, without me towards the end of the show when
We'll
I'm
pick
gone.
for you.
That, or I can write them down while I'm here, and then I'll let you guys, I will just leave them with you. So we'll look over at the games from around the area, because then we'll get to the games that we're covering here last, but the games from the Rounding area. We'll look at the first one's a matchup between two letter A's. We've got Ashbrook taking on A.L. Brown. We'll start with Terry, and then I'll flip-flop this time. We'll start with Terry, and then we'll go to Shannon, and then we'll go to Terry.
Yeah, I like that part when you jump back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't like Shannon starting all the time,
No.
or me starting all
I
the
make
time.
him look bad.
Yeah.
Right,
'Cause,
okay.
I mean, give us an opportunity to change our mind right after somebody votes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
But
ahead.
anyway, here we are. Ashbrook going to A.L. Brown. Neither team played last week, so you're coming into your first game of the year while everybody else has played. Ashbrook, no matter how many times I have this team, I say the same thing every year. People always say, well, here we go. You never know how to pick them. I don't know whether they're going to be good, they're going to be average, or they're going to be at the tail end of the bottom. I mean, they got athletes. There's no doubt about it if you walk into school.
Yeah.
But can they play together? And tonight they're going to make a trip over to A.L. Brown. And I know this is on the road at A.L. Brown. It's a hard place to play. Yeah. Artificial turf over there. It's a whole different environment. And I'm just going to be as simple, and I'm going to make it as easy as can be. I got A.L. Brown winning 28-14.
Well, here's the thing: when Ashbrook this year, they got 12 returning starters, and as you said, Terry, they have athletes. And I'm just looking at their side; they got some decent size on their team for the whole, not just line, but they got some big backs and big receivers. But again, you're playing A.L. Brown. And that's always, when you look at a team it's like a team that's always good. It always seems to be A.L. Brown. They're right there with Concord and Caparis County. I mean, it's just a hard. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I was getting ready to say, they haven't been that tough. Last year 6-6.
Yeah.
Coming into this year, so not as dominant as they've had been.
So I'm looking at what I know about Ashbrook, because I don't know anything about Brown. I'm just looking at Ashbrook, and Andrews. He's done he's South Point guy. He's done a great job rejuvenating that football program, and I think they can go up there and win because I do believe that returning, that core that they have returning, they know what to do. These guys are now been in the system for 3 years. Some of them 3, some probably 2, but they know what to expect. And so I think Brown is in for trouble. I think Ashbrook's gonna go up there and win. And I'm thinking again. I'm saying 28-17. It's gonna be a close game, but I think Ashbrook will prevail.
Well, that's the thing that kind of bothered me because the last week's Ashbrook game was postponed, did not happen, and that's kind of threw me in a whack because I was like, okay, now what do you do? Because Ashbrook is a team. To me, either they get better during the year or they just totally fall off, and I'm not good at picking Ashbrook any week.
Okay, so that was our preview for the Ashbrook A.L. Brown game. Now we're going to go to one of our Lincoln County teams. It's another one, to start with the same letter. East Lincoln and East Rowan will be playing. This is East Lincoln's first official game of the season, one of the many teams in the surrounding area that did have a Week 1 bye. Terry, does he think the Week 1 bye sets him back a little bit against a team like East Rowan, who's already played one game?
Didn't I go first last
time? Oh, yeah, you're right. Shannon.
Yeah, okay.
You're right. I'm sitting here making picks at the same time.
Terry didn't know. That's why he reverted to
Oh, he
me.
doesn't. Well, there you go. I like that.
No, but no. East,
Shannon.
I think it's – well, I can go back to Ashbrook. I think these guys, these teams, they've been chomping at the bit, saying, okay, we had to wait a week, and now we're getting ready to start. So they're going to come out pumped up. They're going to come out fired up. Lubowitz at East Lincoln, I think he's got 13 starters returning, so he's got a good group to build on. He's not just starting fresh. He's got a senior quarterback that's back, the Barnett kid, I think's his name, and he's got the running back is back, Will Barber. So I think East Lincoln, I don't care if East Rowan has played a game. I think East Lincoln's going to bring something because they're going to be tough defensively. East Lincoln always seems to be a tough defense, and they're traveling to East Rowan, which isn't far from Denver. So the travel part won't be that big of a factor. But I think East Lincoln can go up there, and I think they're going to put on a clinic. I'm going to say 21-7. I think they're going to do well.
Well, this is the one that I voted in another poll, and I was the only guy to take this one team. And I don't know why I did. I just feel Coach Lubowitz is going to take his team over there. I know how East Lincoln struggled on offense for the last few years that we have seen them. And East Rowan did beat North Stanley 33-12, but North Stanley is not one of the upper echelon football teams in the state of North Carolina. what will happen here, I think it's going to be close, and I'm with you. But I'm going to take East Rowan to win this game. I'm going to take it real close, 21-20, East Rowan.
21-20 East Rowan over East Lincoln. I agree with where Shannon was coming from. How, it might be a blessing in disguise that you did have week 1 off. You had an extra week to prepare, knowing who you're facing, East Rowan. East Rowan did play, so you get a little bit of game film you get to watch on them. And I can agree, and I know how it is, getting ready. Yeah, all of us do at one point playing sports. First game, you're ready to go out there, and you're ready to knock heads. You're ready to get going.
You're ready to hit somebody else in a different
Yes,
direction.
You're tired of hitting each other in practice. You're ready to hit somebody else. And they definitely want to start the season off with a win. You definitely want to get the first game out of the way with a W. So if you were asking me right now, I would take East Lincoln. We're going to look now at the Forest View Clover matchup. So we'll go back to Terry, and then I'll get this back on track. So, Terry, start us here.
I'm not even going to touch base too much on this. I think Forest View's got a lot to work on this year. Clover beat York 48-21 last week. The Blue Eagles have won 11 out of the last 15 meetings, and they have won the last 4. For Forest View, the way they got pounded last week, I think you're going to have about the same thing this week. Clover goes to 2-0 this year, and with a 42-7 win over Forest View.
Yeah, Terry, I agree. I think Forest View they got some. I think their coaching staff is it's nothing against those guys.
No,
they just don't
not.
have the traditional talent that comes through there. I guess traditional be a good word. I don't know, but they just don't seem to. They can't just get that one big playmaker, and then if they do, they can't surround him. So I agree with you, Clover. They've always been a juggernaut against them, so I'm going to say 49-0 Clover.
Wow, I'm actually agreeing. I actually wrote down taking Clover in this game. I remember doing a Forest View game last year. Kings Mountain went down there and absolutely manhandled Forest View. For some reason, Kings Mountain had a slow first half, and Forest View hung around with them. But in the second half, they put the pedal to the metal, and Kings Mountain floored Forest View. So, like you said, I don't know how much talent they're really going to have this year, if any, to really compete. So I'm going to take Clover as well. Hunter Huss and Rocky Ridge. This is another team that is their first game of the season. Shannon, do the Huskies come out with a victory?
Again, don't know much about Rocky Ridge, but Hunter Huss lost a lot from last year. And they had a great team. They had a great run last year, but they do have the Wallace kid back at quarterback, Zoe Wallace, and he's a playmaker. But he can't do it by himself. I don't believe he has to have people around him. But I think Coach McCoy, I think he's the way Andrews has done at Ashbrook. McCoy has found and rejuvenated that Hunter Huss mentality for their football program, and he's doing the things the right way. And so I'm going to say Hunter Huss, yes, I think they can go down there. They've got a good seems like they got a good offensive line, got a kid at 6'2", 310. Hey, just run behind that kid.
Yeah,
just run behind him. He's going to get you at least 3 yards. You get 3 yards every play, you're going to score a touchdown. But defensively, I think Hunter Huss, maybe their athleticism is going to cover a lot of mistakes. But I think once everything gets together, you'll see Huss being another tough team this year, even though they only have 6 starters, but they lost so much from last year. So I'm going to say Huss goes to Rocky Ridge, and they win 28-14.
28-14.
Yes.
Okay. I'm jumping on the other side of the boat. I know Hunter Huss lost a lot, and that's when we was talking about our preseason rankings, and everybody had built them up as they was going to be one of the top teams around here. Don't get me wrong, great coaching staff, but you got to fill a lot of holes. So can you do that? For me, Rocky River, though, I got them winning this one.
Rocky River, Rocky Ridge.
Rocky River.
Rocky River. Okay.
Is River?
Yes.
Oh.
I saw Ridge.
They got
up
Ridge
there.
written up there.
Yeah.
Rocky River, though. I got Rocky River winning this one,
Same.
28-24.
That's another Union County team too. That's
I have. I picked Hunter Huss. I can agree with how Shannon said. I don't really know much about Rocky River. And I thought it was Rocky Ridge. Don't know much about Rocky River, but I do remember watching Zoe Wallace play against Kings Mountain last year. It was one of Kings Mountain's few losses was against Hunter Huss last year at Kings Mountain. And I can see the fact that he lost a lot of players around him. But let me tell you something. When you say he is a playmaker, he is a playmaker. Big-time playmaker as well. And sometimes at this level, that might be all you need to win a game.
Could be.
So I'm going to take Hunter Huss, and I'm going to keep it actually really close. I think it's 21-16.
And it is Rocky Ridge. Yeah.
It is Rocky Ridge.
Okay.
Some of us don't know
Okay,
how
so
to write.
it is Hunter Huss, Rocky Ridge. So we've got that figured out.
So where is that? Where's Rocky Ridge? Is that Union? I know Rocky River's Union County.
And I got a feeling Rocky Ridge is in the same territory.
It's somewhere down there. Yeah, it's Rocky.
All right. So I'm going to go straight down from that. Got another Lincoln County team playing tonight. Lincolnton at South Point. I've also seen Lincolnton play this year. I didn't see the complete game. I saw until halftime because of the multiple lightning strikes that they had during that game. So we're going to go now. Am I at Terry again? Yeah, Terry, go ahead and tell me about what you think about the Lincolnton South Point game.
South Point leads this all-time series. Just when it's been South Point Lincoln at 26-10, and Lincoln, I'm going to put it like this, and I know for all the Lincoln fans, defensive-wise, very aggressive. I mean, they hit the gaps. They've got 2 or 3 guys that's going to tackle you all at one time. Very quick to the ball, but I don't know how much offense they can put up. Majerus is going to have to do everything by himself, and I don't think there's enough talent behind him for, and they might change me all year long and prove me wrong. But I know in game 1 you saw Majerus. He is the leader of that team, and as he goes, they're going to go. But can he do it all? And that's what I'm looking at. I got South Point, though. I mean, a tough loss last week to 13-7, but man, you're playing South Point, and you know that quarterback's going to run the show. And as they come out, will you be giving up 50-yarders, or will your guys, your linebackers, hit the right hole and hold them to
South
4
Point
or 5?
Still on a third or fourth string quarterback right now, or is their starter back?
Yeah,
I think he's well, what I've heard, I don't know, but the Greer kid, that's the kid that South Point, that's what they're hanging their bread and butter on, but he's hurt. And so, they started saying, okay, we got to find a quarterback. And Greer was actually a receiver that they wanted to put him at quarterback, but he said, I'm going to college play receiver. Right. So he put him at receiver, he still gets hurt. So,
well, my whole deal, I got South Point 35, Lincoln 7.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But South Point, watching them against Crest last week, just watching it's still South Point. It's still South Point. I don't care who. All you got to just take the snap and hand it to the fullback. And watch them play against Crest last week. The way they ran that dive, it was impressive. I mean, these kids. If you want to, they know how to block. I mean, these kids are they're firing low off the ball, and Crest had no answer for that fullback in the second half. Crest ended up winning that game because they fumbled, because South Point fumbled. But it's still, I mean, when that is clicking, it's going to be hard to stop that. And Lincoln, God love them and bless them. I don't think they're going to be able to handle that. And they may be aggressive, but there is something about playing South Point. The way they fire off the ball is just different. It's just different than and I agree. I don't think it's going to be I don't think Lincoln they'll be handled. I'm going to say 42-7.
Yeah, and the thing I look at it also, I mean,
and they're playing at South Point. So,
looking at South Point's offensive line is going to be way bigger than Lincoln's defense.
Well, they're not really that big. Just looking against Crest, they didn't look real big. But it's like they're so low and they're just so fundamentally sound. It's like
it looks like this is gonna have to be my final one to give on air before I have to run back to Lincoln County and help set up to get ready for the North Lincoln East Rutherford game we're calling tonight. But I will say this: I did watch the until halftime where Storms took over against the Lincolnton Stuart Kramer game. I can agree with you, Terry. Lincolnton had great up front push. But I said this the next day, too, after I saw. I don't know if that's because their defensive line is that good or if the offensive lines are just that bad. Yeah. You never know. But they were really promising. Offensive-wise, though, I think Lincolnton is still very challenged. I think they're still very challenged. They're going to be very one-dimensional. And South Point, even though you know what they're going to do, you got to be able to stop it. And people still struggle to stop it to this day. I think Lincolnton's just so challenged on offense. I don't want to say this because people think I'm picking on them, but I could see this being a goose egg from Lincolnton. I could see this being at least 35-0 South Point. And with that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to let Shannon and Terry just run the show, I guess. Unless Calvin wants to jump in with them, I'm just going to let them run the show. And you are listening to the Witherspoon Insurance Agency pregame show. We will be back after these messages on KDCBroadcasting.com.
People are talking about The Boss.
I love it.
You play great music.
The Boss, 101.5 FM, 1390 AM, WOHS, Shelby.
Since 1986, Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby has been serving families across Shelby and Cleveland County. And today, Wayne Witherspoon continues the tradition of bringing you the best insurance at the best possible price, with names like The Hartford, Safeco, Progressive, National General, and Travelers. Drop by the office today at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby and talk with one of their friendly hometown agents. Witherspoon Insurance Agency, your independent insurance agency since 1986.
Need a licensed electrician to service your home? Give us a jingle, or just use this one.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
For local pros, call Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? Give us a jingle, or just use this one.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
For local pros, call Mr. Sparky.
If you're not bundling your insurance with Allstate, you might have fear of missing out, or FOMO.
You're too old to say FOMO.
But people who don't bundle their auto and home with Allstate...
No, FOMO's about fun stuff, not insurance.
But what if people use the money they save to pay for that fun stuff?
Okay, fine.
Your local Allstate agent is Damon Scott. Give him a call at 704-484-3463.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Did you know that termites are the #1 leading cause of damage to homes in the United States, and water damage is second? Neelan Coal can help protect your home and family from both. Have Neelan Coal Termite and Pest Control inspect your home for prior or present wood-destroying insects and moisture. Call 1-888-7 the web today for your free estimate and receive $25 off any new service. That's 1-888-7 the web for Neelan Coal Termite and Pest Control. Buy from the originator, not the imitator. Before you buy your next set of tires, check around and compare, and you'll find the best prices are at Oakey's Tire and Recabbing in Shelby, with name brands like Goodyear, Mastercraft, Michelin, Yokohama, Firestone, GT Radio, Dura, and more. Plus, Oakey's has used tires too, and road service is available, and they'll rotate and balance your tires for the lifetime of your tire. Oakey's Tire and Recapping, 800 West Warren Street in Shelby, Cleveland County's hometown dealer for over 32 years.
Traveling for a ball game? The Hampton Inn in Gastonia has more for your travels. Book the Ultimate Escape Package and enjoy $10 in snack shop credit, hot breakfast, premium Wi-Fi, and late checkout. At the Gastonia Hampton Inn, you can enjoy cable programming, and video game consoles are also provided, plus a pool, a fitness center, dry cleaning service, and more. With 107 air-conditioned guest rooms, the Hampton Inn, 1859 Remount Road in Gastonia. Book your room by calling 704-866-9090. Offices open 24 hours a day.
Now's the time to buy your new Kubota from Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Right now, pay zero money down. Get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Come on in now for all the details. All for good on the Kubota BX Series, the Kubota B Series, the Kubota L Series, and the Kubota MX Series tractors. Again, zero money down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Get your new Kubota today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain.
You hear them pads going clack, 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 clack. You hear them clicks going tap, 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 tap.
704 beats by Alex J.
Yeah. First and 10. We in the trenches.
And we are back here at the Witherspoon Insurance Agency pregame show. Shannon Allen, along with Terry Reinhardt Hunter, has left the building.
He has.
And he is heading up to North Lincoln and to help call the East Rutherford North Lincoln game. Terry, you want to talk about who's feeding us tonight?
Yeah, and also don't forget Witherspoon Insurance Company. I mean, if you're ever out and you need some insurance for almost anything, give them people a call. But on our other end of it, it's Mitchell's Kitchens, Northbrook's finest in food. I got me a hamburger steak. I know Calvin got a hamburger steak.
Yeah, that shrimp in there smells good. That shrimp plate.
Yes, it is. But get in touch with Carol or Robin Mitchell. They open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on Sunday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. 704-276-1155. Call in your order. They'll have it ready, and you take it with you. Eat it before you get to the game.
There you go. There you go. Put a little box and take it with you. So we're going to get back into our picks for tonight. We stopped. The last one was Hunter Huss. We're going to go to Highland Tech and Commonwealth. And Terry, I think Commonwealth is a team out of Virginia, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be very mistaken. But I remember Commonwealth being, I want to say they came down here to Easter tournament this year at Shelby and played baseball, but I may be wrong there, and that could be another Commonwealth school somewhere else. But am I right or wrong there?
I think you're right.
Okay, so I'm not wrong too many times. But, no, but anyway, so Highland Tech, I'll go ahead and just start. So Highland Tech, they come in this year, and it's one of those things. They had a big year last year. They got some wins, and they're wanting to build on that. I know some of their coaches, they had a coaching change for the guy that's now at Shelby Middle School, Coach Bowden. I think he was at Highland Tech last year, and then Bowden took over at Shelby Middle as the head coach. So some coaching changes there, some different players, but Highland Tech, it's one of those that had 5 returning starters this year, and but they're playing a team that's down here, probably travel a long way, and I'm gonna pick them tonight, Terry. I think Highland. I'm DeLeo's their coach. I think is it DeLeo's? I hate to say his name. He's their coach. I think he's done a good job there, building up some type of tradition or laying a foundation. So I'm gonna say Highland, and you can talk more about it. I'm gonna say Highland 21, Commonwealth 17.
I come into this one, and I looked back last week, and pretty much East Burke had no trouble.
Yeah.
With Highland. I mean, they pretty much thumped them pretty hard, and
Yeah.
I thought that game would have been closer. Matter of fact, tell you the truth, I took Highland. I didn't miss it by no 100 points, but I did miss the game. But this time around, I'm going to take Commonwealth because I'm not quite sure of how many starters. And you only mentioned they only had 5.
I think it's 5 starters they got returning.
And that's hard to replace.
Yeah.
When you're having to replace that many guys on the field. I'm going to take Commonwealth, and I think it's going to be close. I'm going to take 17-14.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Right, so 17-14. Moving along, we're going to go down to North Gaston and Polk County, and going over to Polk County. So Coach Patton taking the Wildcats to face the Wolverines. I think they're in Polk County. If not, I'm just wrong on that. But North Gaston, big win against their rival East Gaston last week. It was one of those games where both of these teams are not picked to finish high in their conference, and so get that one win in, and so North Gaston was on the favorable end of that. But they're going to play a Polk County team that I have a friend down there named Lamont Jones. He coaches their defensive backs, and I saw them at a 7-on-7 camp this year. This summer, Lamont said that they're not very athletic, Polk is, but they're very sound. And so I think that can win a lot of ball games, especially when you're playing a team like North Gaston that is struggling even this early. They'll struggle a lot this year. So Polk County, I think they'll handle North Gaston easily. It's probably their home opener maybe, and so I'm gonna say 28-0 Polk County.
Okay, I know Polk County beat Cherokee last week 43-6, had no trouble. They make that trip down here, and if North Gaston had not struggled with East Gaston last week, I mean, that game went down to the last fourth quarter, and they pulled that out, and that's one reason I took East Gaston, because I knew when I saw North Gaston in a scrimmage, they did not look that good to me. But this week, it's kind of hard for me not to go with you, and I'm going to take Polk County. I'm going to give North Gaston 7, but I'm going to give Polk County 31.
Yeah, it's probably going to be worse than that. It's probably going to be worse, just to be honest. So we're moving to the next game, and I can't see it. Stuart Kramer and Catawba.
Yeah, that's the one we've already spoke of.
We've already talked about that one. So
maybe
that was Rocky Ridge. We had the Ridges mixed up. So Stuart Kramer and Catawba Ridge. So Stuart Kramer, Ben McMillan, their coach. They have 11 returning starters this year. But what surprises me, Terry, is what Hunter was talking about, and you mentioned as well, the game against Lincoln, 10-7. They beat Lincoln. That throws up some red flags to me, because I know how Lincoln, they've struggled. I know I saw them against Shelby in the Jamboree. They struggled against them, and then they played a Stuart Kramer team. Maybe they got better. Maybe Lincoln got better, but Stuart Kramer, I was thinking, well, this will be a blowout. I'm thinking, well, maybe Lincoln's a little bit better than I thought they were. But Stuart Kramer, I don't know nothing about Catawba Ridge. I just don't. But Stuart Kramer, I think if they're going to make a statement in that conference, because they're in a very tough conference, they've got to win games like this. This is because that conference is what it is. You're going to have this one win. Maybe this will help you get in the playoffs. Maybe this will be that fourth win.
It could be.
So I think Stuart Kramer has to do a big job tonight. Tyrese Morris, the running back, and led by Truesdale on the defensive or the linebacker position. I think they need to make a statement and say, hey, we're for real. All right, the Lincoln game, his first game, jitters are gone, but now let's start building on this year. So I say Stuart Kramer wins this one 35-7 against Catawba Ridge.
Well, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to pick the same way. I think Stuart Kramer, you're playing a Catawba Ridge team. Last week was their first game they ever played.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh, okay.
This is their inaugural season. And they're 1-0. So
Hey.
now they're going to play Stuart Kramer, the second week. And I think Stuart Kramer might be a little bit bigger up front. And I think that might be a big difference in this game. But I'm also going to go the same way you do, and we'll just keep on going. Stuart Kramer, I don't want to expect them to win by a lot because, they surprised me last week by only scoring 10 against Lincoln. But I'm going to go Stuart Kramer this week, 21-6 over Catawba Ridge.
Okay, 21-6, Stuart Kramer. So that finishes out that board of the area games. Now we're going to move to the games that you're going to be able to either watch them or listening to them. So Terry, which one do you want to go with? You want to start with the Crest board since they lead
Let's go to the bottom.
6:30. You're going to start at the bottom. Which one? Which board? First one or second?
Asheville and Burns.
Okay, Asheville and Burns. So you want to start this one? You want to take the lead on this one? Okay.
Last week when I saw Burns, and don't get me wrong, and I keep telling people, it's what I told people Saturday. When you lose a game like that, Kings Mountain beat you last year pretty bad. Maybe you cannot at this point in time match them man for man to compare with them. But again, you play Kings Mountain and they beat you soundly again. So now you've had another week, and Coach Devine, I know how he is. He's a great coach. But, you step up this week, and now you got Asheville. Asheville beat Franklin last week 34-6, holding them to less than 150 yards of total offense. And I was looking again. I know Pryor did not have a good game, so now you have to step back, and you're questioning yourself on account of playing Kings Mountain and the way they held you. Can Asheville do the same? I think Asheville will almost do what they said, but we have to understand that Kings Mountain is good. Yeah. I'm going to take Asheville on this one. It's going to be close, and this is one of those games that I missed last year when I doubted Burns last year when he had to go up in the mountains, and play. They pulled off a win up there. But I'm going to take Asheville on this one, 24-21.
When Burns switched down to 2A this year, when the state allowed them to do that, a lot of people said, well, Burns' schedule is going to be easier. If you look at their their non-conference schedule, it's tougher to me.
This game is, I had them winning this one.
Yeah.
And now I've kind of turned around and went the other way. I just want Coach Devine and Burns people to prove me wrong.
Yeah, I think they will tonight. I picked Burns last week, but looking at, they've got 14 returning starters.
Yes.
There's something. Last week was just, you want to say it was a fluke. I'm not saying nothing bad about Kings Mountain, but Kings Mountain's one of the top teams probably in the area.
Yeah.
All right,
but here's my question for you, Shane. If you can be the team that you got to be at Burns, like last year, Kings Mountain pretty much handled them, had nothing to do with them, but yet you turn around and you beat a Shelby.
It don't make sense.
That
doesn't make sense.
No, that does not make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And I don't think anybody saw that one coming last year. But again, Terry, you mentioned that you can use that motivation for this game. Say, hey, look, last year we struggled, and boom, you beat the state champ. Yeah. You and not just beat them, you beat them bad.
Yeah.
And it was bad, and you beat them at home, or beat them at Burns. Burns come in. Cameron Sweezy's their quarterback. Cameron's about 6'2". He's a big kid. He's tall. He's lanky, but he's tall. They've got athletes all over the field. And maybe last week, just forget about that game. But they've got some good linemen. They've got a kid that his name's Dorian Starnes. He's a defensive end. He's about 6'3", 220 pounds. He's a good, solid kid. But it's time for those guys to say, okay, we're going to have to want it. Yeah. All right? Coach Devine's a great guy. He can get them up. But the kids are going to say, hey, it's our turn.
That's it.
We're going to have to get it. So I think they make a statement tonight. Because I know Asheville's down. They're not the Asheville teams of old. They're not that big powerhouse in the early 2000s. But I think Burns with their speed, and again, I know Asheville's probably got some speed as well, but Burns I think is quicker, faster, and then maybe they have a bigger heart. Let's see what they got, you know. So I'm gonna say Burns is gonna win this one. I'm gonna say it's gonna be like a 21-17 type. It'll be a close game if it turns out that way. But yeah, I'm picking Burns.
And don't forget, folks, coming up, we also going to lose the Crest Network at 6:30.
Yes. Yeah.
For all the guys over there. You'll be with Andy Root and the Foster people. And as far as WLON, they'll be switching over for North Lincoln at 6:30 for their pregame show over there. So the rest of you stay with us, or hey, if you're part of that group, hey, we understand. We understand you want to hear the people around your area
Absolutely.
talking about your game. But for us, we're going to continue on going through the rest of the games tonight.
Okay, so their next game is Kings Mountain traveling to Monroe, North Carolina, Union County, to take on the Red Hawks of Monroe. And you know, I again, this is one of those games you look at it and you're thinking it actually snuck up on me because I'm like, oh, they're playing Monroe. Wait a minute, they're playing Monroe. I mean, Monroe is like, you're like, wait a minute, you really want to schedule a Monroe team? But again, kudos to Coach Lloyd and Matt Bridges down there, the AD, for setting the game up like this, because it's going to be, Kings Mountain needs a game like this in order to be good in November. You know, they have to be able to face a team that's got a little bit of size and some speed, because they're going to be facing that. And so, but Kings Mountain's traveling down there again. We can talk all about pace hour at the receiving position, but it all begins up front, I think, with the linemen. And I think those the Perry Davis's boy, I can't remember his name, but he's a Davis kid. You got the Bagwell kid on the line. These guys don't get much air time. They don't get much talk time about them. These are big kids. These are big old boys. And you know, with Mack at running back, we hadn't talked about Mack much, but with running back, with him running the ball, pace hour, it's the perfect storm. Kings Mountain is in a great position right now, but they're going to face a team that's probably has a kid that can guard pace hour stride for stride. And so somebody else is going to have to step up. And so, but I think Kings Mountain, I'm pulling for them. I hope they go down there and win, but I think they're going to face a team that's going to help them, and they may lose, but they're going to help them in November, because they're going to face a team now. So I'm going to say Kings Mountain. I think they go down there. I think it keep rolling, though. I hope they do. I'm going to say it's going to be a 35-21 type game.
And with me, I'm probably going to go the same boat that you got, because I was the same way, and I pulled this game up, and I'm like, you're playing Monroe. Monroe beat Anson County last week 35-24. Anson used to be really stout in the past, you know, and you kind of wonder, okay, what type of Monroe team this is. But I also remember the Monroe team that come up and played Shelby a few years back, and Shelby pretty much manhandled them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, so when you speak of Cleveland County football, you're talking top notch. So for Kings Mountain to go to Monroe, that's not a big deal. You know, it's a stout test, but can they come out on top? And first of all, again, I appreciate Lloyd now for setting up a game against another stout opponent. I mean, we always hear about them going to Asheville, them teams from Asheville coming down here, AC Rental, Asheville, you know, all those. But hell, to go down there and pick up a Monroe team,
that's tough.
Yeah, that's tough, and I like it. I really like it. But on my end, I'm going to stay with Cleveland County, because I think Cleveland County can go in any county anywhere in North Carolina and be one of the top teams. But here you go. These are the ones. We've seen Shelby do it. Shelby, just like it does not matter where we go, we're going to dominate. This is from Kings Mountain. I'm going to go with Kings Mountain also. Coach Lloyd and them come out and they pull off a victory here. It's going to be close. I got 28-24.
Okay, good deal. So we're going to stay, I guess. Okay, we're going to stay with it. We're going to move on to the next game. You'll be able to, and again, let me go back. You can watch these. You can watch the Burns-Asheville game and the Kings Mountain Monroe game on the Burns game. You can go to Burns Bulldogs on YouTube and watch it live. The Kings Mountain game, you can go on WOHS YouTube site or YouTube channel, and you can watch it there.
Or you can click on KTC Broadcasting and click over there and say, just stroll down on your screen that keeps on moving, click on it, and it'll have like Kings Mountain against Monroe. Click it again, and YouTube will come up for you.
That'll be it. So next game is going to be another game you can watch live online on Shelby Golden Lions YouTube. It will be the AC Reynolds Rockets invading Blanton Memorial Stadium, coming to play the Shelby Golden Lions. And Terry, you want to start with this one? You want to?
I'm going to start with this, and that way you get the last ones in. You're playing an AC Reynolds team that's coming in. Coach Laws is up there. His team's 0-1. Okay, you say, my Lord, who did he get beat by? Well, the defending 4A state champions from last year. 35-23. So what do this week? Turn around and play the 2AA state champs. We talking about a stout start for a team. This is stout, but they got about a senior quarterback up there, Eli Carr. Last week he was 19 out of 36, 246 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions. You know, this right here is a game that I would love to be at, because as you seeing this, 36 passes, AC Reynolds is going to come out and they're going to throw it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know? And to me on this game, though, is I'm going to sit back and Will Banks, hey, this team's rolling. They had no trouble. And I picked them by 3 touchdowns.
You did.
Easy last week.
You did. Yeah, you did.
But I think this one will be a little bit closer. I think this one will come down to the 4th quarter. But I still think Shelby's going to come out on top on account of they're playing at home.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm going to take. But I'm going to take Shelby 38, AC Reynolds 31.
Okay, well, there you go. So I'm looking at it as well, Terry, and looking from the Shelby standpoint. Last week they played a pretty decent Freedom team,
Yeah, they did.
and you know, if the score you look at, you're like, wow, you know, that was and it was a shocker to me.
Impressive.
Yeah, it was
Very
impressive, especially going to Freedom, because Freedom things happen crazy things happen up there at Freedom first games of the year. You can ask Jeff Jones about that sometime when you get a chance to, but. Yeah, AC Reynolds coming down again. This is like that Monroe Kings Mountain game. Shelby, this game's going to help them in November. This is one of those games you're going to face a team now that's going to be mirroring you. You're basically, they're going to be mirroring you. They're going to be physical up front. They're going to have speed everywhere. How are you going to be able to compensate? How are you going to be able to stop it? And so Shelby, Isaiah Best leading the helm at quarterback. Again, I mentioned this a while ago. Donye Fuller, he's our starting running back. Started last year for him. He's coming back for his senior year. Bruised his shoulder up. You know, he's a little down in the dumps right now, but rightfully so, because he's the fire and vigor and the swagger of that team. But when he gets back, it's just going to be that much better, I do believe. But Shelby, I mean, they've got a great team. They are loaded. They really are loaded. And you're going to have to pick a weakness. Where can you find that weakness? And a team like AC Reynolds can find it. If they can find it, that could cause them a little trouble for Shelby. That really could. But again, we haven't really talked much about this. I'm going with the kicking game as well. I think that's going to be a huge factor in this. You pick 35, I say 38, but I'm saying 38-28. Shelby's going to win. I think that, you got to give a field goal kicker, because Shelby's going to kick a field goal. They're going to kick a field goal. So Silas Goss, I think, is their PAT, or their field goal guy. So Shelby 38 and AC Reynolds 28. And again, you can watch that on the Shelby Golden Lions YouTube. Kings Mountain game you can watch on the WOHS YouTube. The Burns Asheville game you can watch on the Burns Bulldog YouTube channel, or as Terry said, you can click on ktcbroadcasting.com and the little ticker tape down at the bottom, little ticker thing. You just click on your game you want to watch, and it will take you to it. So we're going to take a break. Is that right, Calvin? We're going to take a break. So we're going to take a break here, and we'll be back shortly here on ktcbroadcasting.com.
No matter how you spend your workday,
working hard or hardly working,
we're the perfect companion. 101.5 FM and 1390 AM. WOHS Shelby, the boss.
You'll feel better with a stop at Medical Center Pharmacy in Cherryville, Boston Pharmacy in Fallston, and Allen Drug in Stanley. Come in now and ask for your locally produced elderberry syrup. It's available for both adults and children, and all 3 stores carry the popular CBD oil, and flu shots are still available. Caring for you and about you. That's Medical Center Pharmacy, 607 East Academy Street in Cherryville, Allen Drug Store, Main Street in downtown Stanley, and the Fallston Pharmacy, Highway 18 North in Fallston. Gamble's Auto Service at 104 South DeKalb Street in Uptown Shelby is your one-stop service center for repair work on your auto. Locally owned and operated since 1980, they offer light and medium automotive repair on all types of vehicles. Bill Gamble and his friendly staff can do state inspections, minor engine repair work, brakes, air conditioning, and heating service, timing belts, tune-ups, and oil changes, and lubrication. And now Gamble sells new and used tires. Stop by and let Gamble's Auto Service take care of your automotive repairs and servicing. That's Gamble's Auto Service, 104 South DeKalb Street, Uptown Shelby. Call 704-487-5079.
Since 1986, Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby has been serving families across Shelby and Cleveland County. And today, Wayne Witherspoon continues the tradition of bringing you the best insurance at the best possible price. With names like The Hartford, Safeco, Progressive, National General, and Travelers. Drop by the office today at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby and talk with one of their friendly hometown agents. Witherspoon Insurance Agency, your independent insurance agency since 1986. Since 1986, Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby has been serving families across Shelby and Cleveland County. And today, Wayne Witherspoon continues the tradition of bringing you the best insurance at the best possible price. With names like The Hartford, Safeco, Progressive, National General, and Travelers. Drop by the office today at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby and talk with one of their friendly hometown agents. Witherspoon Insurance Agency, your independent insurance agency since 1986.
Who are you? You're not a goat. Oh, you say you feel like a goat since you didn't buy your car from Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. And now you're putting up with a bunch of bull. Don't be like my friend here. You get no bull at Renato Honda and Renato Kia at Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. 4423 East Dixon Boulevard. Don't let another dealer get your goat. Have you got a ping, pang, ding going on with your car or truck? Then take it to A-Plus Automotive in Shelby. A-Plus Automotive does all types of automotive repairs, from tune-ups to oil changes and complete diagnostic work. And they are a North Carolina inspection station with over 30 years of experience. See A-Plus Automotive in Shelby. They also do AC and heater repair. Get her running today with a stop at A-Plus Automotive, 1900 Elizabeth Avenue in Shelby. See Charlie Heston today or call 704-482-0441 for A-Plus Automotive in Shelby.
If you're not bundling your insurance with Allstate, you might have fear of missing out, or FOMO.
You're too old to say FOMO.
But people who don't bundle their auto and home with Allstate...
No, FOMO's about fun stuff, not insurance.
But what if people use the money they save to pay for that fun stuff?
Okay, fine.
Your local Allstate agent is Damon Scott. Give him a call at 704-484-3463.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Yeah. You hear them pads going clack, 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 clack. You hear them clicks going tap, tap, tap.
704 beats by Alex J.
Witherspoon Agency Insurance Pregame Show. Is that how you say that? Witherspoon Agency Insurance Pregame Show. That's a mouthful. So, yeah, as you mentioned a while ago, go see Wayne there if you need any insurance and talk a little football. I'm sure Wayne will fill your ears up about Crest Chargers. He's a big Crest guy. So
don't get me wrong, we've had them for a long time, and again, guys, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. When the community gets involved like that, especially when it's supporting the kids and the high school athletics, and that's with the radio station as well. When they get involved, it opens up a lot of doors, and it gives these kids exposure. And so kudos to Calvin, Kevin, all those here, and also people like Wayne, and then Mitchum as well. So, but Terry, you want to go over something about some polls and then we'll finish the last three games we got. But Terry's going to read you something about the statewide or the nationwide polls.
Yeah, and a lot of times each week, like last year, we always go for the national polls and who's ranked number one, how many games they won, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we went into last week with one of our own teams around North Carolina, Wake Forest, was number 3. In the poll, had won 45 straight. But last week, they were defeated. So they started off week 1. They're 0-1 on the year. They lost to Cardinal Gibbons 27-24. People said, who's Cardinal Gibbons? They're out of the Cape 7 Foothills Conference out of 4A. So they're not
I think they're a little 4A, not the big 4A, but it's still 4A.
But a big win.
Yeah, huge win. Huge win.
But our rankings coming up this week as we come into it. Number 1 on the poll is Caledonia, Minnesota. They have won 54 now in a row. Number 2 is Choate, Rosemary Hill out of Connecticut. They have won 49. Number 3, it's Martinsburg, West Virginia, which has won 42. And you have to go down the poll. We still have somebody from North Carolina that's still in the poll, but you drop all the way down to number 9, and it's Tarboro with 31 straight victories. So in our North Carolina poll, Tarboro 31, Charlotte Christian has 22, Reedsville has 16, and Shelby's coming in at number 7 with 13 straight.
Oh, wow. So again, congratulations to anybody from Cardinal Gibbons around this area. in that area for them. I know that was a big win for them against a very powerful Wake Forest team. And, probably opened some eyes because also the Mallard Creek Dutch Fork game was last week, and it was canceled due to lightning.
Yep, it ended up at 27-27 tie.
Yeah, and I know I saw an interview with Tommy Knotts, and of course, you can have your opinion about Knotts, but he was claiming he didn't want the game to end. But from what I've read on social media, I think Mallard Creek was giving them all they could handle, and Mallard Creek was probably going to go win that game. So. It is what it is, a tie, but, a great showing. Mallard Creek's a very solid program, and, being in the area, I guess you could say Charlotte area, and has some local ties actually from Cleveland County down there. So, but, when you talk about great, powerful teams, yeah, we've got our teams around here, but you talk about a Mallard Creek or Dutch Fork, that's on another level.
It is.
It seems like it's on another level. So,
well, I know I kind of went back this past week and looked at the all-time winners in each for North Carolina, South Carolina. In North Carolina, old David Gentry from up here at Murphy, he's still up our 380 wins. He's like 20 short of Jack Hawley's record of 400 in the state now. And if you go to South Carolina, man hasn't been down there long, but Tommy Knox is the all-time leader in South Carolina. And I know that transfers over to victories out of North Carolina too that help him. But, congratulations to them guys.
Yeah.
Another thing we'll touch on is our standings in the Northwestern 2A Foothills. Only two unbeaten teams, and anybody right now would never said it was these two. East Burton, West Iredale are both 1-0. Bunker Hill drawn 54. Patton, West Caldwell, and High Brighton is 0-1. In the Southern Piedmont 1A, Cherryville and Pine Lake Prep are both 1-0. Community School of Davidson, Thomas Jefferson, which we're going to speak of them in a minute, and Union Academy are 0-0. Bessemer City, Highland Tech, Mountain Island, and Christ the King is 0-1. In the Northwestern 3A, 4A conference that we cover, Alexander Central, South Caldwell, and Watauga are all 1-0. St. Stephen's, Freedom, Hickory, and McDowell 0-1. And when we always talk about that conference, we always talk about the 4A bracket, either South Caldwell or McDowell. I don't think we're going to have trouble with that this year.
No, I don't think so.
In the South Fork 2A Conference, Bandy's, Maiden, West Lincoln, and North Lincoln 1-0. East Lincoln, first game tonight, Lake Norman Charter, Lincoln, and North Lincoln 0-1. In the Southwestern 2A Conference, Chase, RS Central, and Shelby 1-0. Burns, South Point, East Gaston, and East Rutherford 0-1. In the Big South 3A Conference, Crest, Kings Mountain, North Gaston, and Stuart Kramer 1-0. Ashbrook and Hunter Huss playing their first game tonight, and Forest View 0-1.
So there's your polls from around the area and nationwide, statewide polls. So congratulations to those teams. And we're going to finish here. Again, we're going to finish with the games. I know Terry and I'll probably sit here and talk a little bit as well. But we're going to start. We're going to go to the next board, and the next game that we're going to speak of would be the Chase. And the Chase Trojans hosting the Cherryville Ironman game. Terry, you want to start this one?
Well, here you come. Cherryville 1-0, Chase 1-0. What a way to have a second week for both coaches. I know Coach Pruitt has been studying film all week, but Chase, very impressive last week with a 28-10 win over Bessemer City. On the other end of it, the running back Jaden Blanton, 4 touchdowns, 180 yards against Christ the King. What a great job he did. Chase last week, though, and I think this might have been the biggest thing in the whole game. Can you do it again this week, though? They forced 5 turnovers against Bessemer City. That might have really changed that game. You take the ride up there to Chase. Chase is like a long ride and you're in a hole when you get there. I mean,
sandbox.
That's just, that's just how I look at it. I mean, you're going up 74 and you just keep going. You take a left and then you go out here in behind something and down in a hole you go to play football. But it's a hard place to play if you've never been there. But for Chase, this is a team that when I look back on them, they'll go 1 or 2 years to have great teams, and then they'll go 6 or 7 with a team that don't win 2 or 3 games. Right. This time up there, you got Cherryville coming in. I think this is going to be a great game for Cherryville, a good game for Chase. Can Chase go to 2-0? And I'm going out on a limb. I'm taking Chase to win this one. Yeah. 21-14.
21-14. Well, Terry, I agree with about everything you said. Well, not about. I agree with everything you said there. Chase, Court Rafford at Chase, he is building he's resetting the standard.
He is.
Okay, he's trying to put something in place that has never really been there, and these kids, this whole generation, I'd say the past, or at least this generation, maybe their parents, they've never really experienced a win or a winning season. And Chase, just looking at him from the eye test, I go back 5 years ago. That's when I really started paying attention to them. They look like, I mean, you're like, look at them, you're thinking, wow, they're going to be pretty athletic. There's going to be a pretty good ball team, and they'd fall off. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like, man, they get drugged through the. I mean, it's awful. But this year, it's a new year. Coach Radford there. You know, I think again, when you're dealing with teenage boys, okay, you can make them do anything because they've got a lot of stuff going on physically.
They do.
Okay. And a lot of changes are happening there, and we can, you know, this isn't one of those classes, but we all know, we've all experienced that. But their hormones are going crazy, and if you get them going in the right direction, you can get a kid to do anything for you, run through a brick wall, especially if you're a football coach, and probably he's maybe a parental role to some of these kids. They'll run through fire for him, and I think that's what he's wanting there. Coach Pruitt at Cherryville, again, same thing.
Yes.
He's resetting the standard there. He's trying to. It's not just a baseball school. We're going to be in a basketball school with Coach Harrell, but we're going to be a football school as well.
And they're trying to build it on down into the middle schools.
Absolutely.
They're participating in everything that's
Absolutely.
happening down there. That way they see some young man coming up. You know what, buddy? You're going to be a starter for me. Just keep hanging.
Yeah.
You know, and to a young kid,
huge.
that's all he needs to hear from
yeah.
a coach.
That's huge. That is humongous. That's a great point there. And again, these two guys, they're bringing their teams. They're 1-0. They're getting ready to butt heads with each other. But I love Chase's ability to be able to play at home, and I think they're going to be more athletic. And again, not impugning anything Pruitt's done at Cherryville, but I think Chase is just. They're going to be this game. They're going to be better. Okay, maybe this game they're going to be better. And again, I'm like a 21-17 type game. Chase is going to win, but again, congratulations to both teams and both programs as well. You can listen to that one to WCSL 1390 AM, or you can also click on ktcbroadcasting.com and listen to it there as well. So we're going to move up to our next game, and a team that really surprised me last week. Actually, two teams. Let's say that me personally, East Rutherford traveling up to North Lincoln. You can listen to this one on, it's going to be audio only. You go on WLON 1050, or again, you can click on ktcbroadcasting.com. Terry, last week, East Rutherford at West Henderson. Was that right? West Henderson.
It was.
And I told you.
I kept trying to tell you.
You did. You kept telling me that West Henderson was going to win. And again, I'm using my mentality going back to about 10, 15 years ago. When you talk about Henderson County teams, Hendersonville area, and they play teams from down here, it's a shootout down here. I mean, it's no contest. But again, it seems like the script's been flipped a little bit. East Rutherford, I told you, had probably one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the Tri-County, 4-county area we got going on here, named Calvin Camps, I think is his name.
He couldn't be stopped.
He couldn't be stopped, but he has no help. He has zero help. So North Lincoln, East Rutherford, as Camp goes, they're going to go. But if you stop Camp, proven last week, you know you're going to win. North Lincoln, Basil coaching again. Last week is maybe it was a fluke. You never know. I disagree with Hunter about being the South Fork. I still think they're the team to beat, just by who they got coming back. Again, just by who they got coming back. But a tough test against East Rutherford, because now I feel they're playing a team that's faster than what they faced last week, and it's going to be tough to be able to. But if they can contain just one player, I feel North Lincoln will have a problem. So I'm picking North Lincoln to win this at home, because they're going to have a little chip on their shoulders. Hey, look, man, we lost last week. We weren't supposed to lose, and especially after a big year they had last year. So I'm saying North Lincoln at home. I'm saying it's going to be 42. What right now here? 42-17. 42-17. North Lincoln makes a statement.
Man, okay. Well, when I looked at it last week, I mean, we keep talking about Camp. The biggest part of the.
Go ahead, Terry. I'm
okay.
sorry. Go ahead.
Whichever the quarterback is from East Rutherford.
Calvin Jones. Calvin Jones.
There we are.
Yeah.
All right, Calvin Jones. But when you come into this game, he did a lot last week. I mean, they scored 42 points.
Yeah.
They just couldn't stop nobody.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and that was the problem. They gave up over 400 yards rushing to West Henderson. And what is North Lincoln going to do? They're
Run it.
going to run.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so your linebackers better be able to fill holes and stop it. But, I mean, coming into this week, and I went out on a limb as to North Lincoln is 0-1 all time against Rutherford County schools. They lost to Thomas Jefferson last year. It was the only game they ever played. So this is your second opportunity. I think, though, East Rutherford's going to have too much speed.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to look at this game. Will North Lincoln, can he win? Yeah. I mean, you got Coach Basil. I know he's got them guys believing themselves. This game's going to be close. It's going to be another one of them games that comes down to the fourth quarter. Will it be 50-some, 40-some? No, I don't think that, but I think it's going to be a 40-some, 30-some game. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking for.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah. But I'm going to take East Rutherford 42, North Lincoln 37.
Barn burner. There you go. That'd be a great game to watch. If it ended up like that,
Yes.
that would be a fantastic game to watch. So, again, you can listen to that one on WLON 1050 AM or KTCBroadcasting.com. So, our last game we're going to talk about for the evening is going to be the Crest Chargers and heading up the mountain, going up to TC Roberson to face the Rams. And you got anything on TC?
Only thing I know about TC, they played Watauga last week and they got plummeted.
Got drugged.
Yeah,
they got
50 to
drugged.
21.
Yeah.
You know, and now you're playing a Crest team that we saw their defense last week against South Point. Crest defense is, and I've mentioned this for the last few years. Every time I see Crest, you always talk about in Cleveland County, your defense has to be a stout test. Crest is always tough. Kings Mountain's always decent. Shelby's always good on defense. Burns, you got to give or take there with theirs. But them other three, and I would put always Crest and Shelby at the top of the line when you're talking about defense. And I think this is going to be a big game for the Crest defense again. Will they have any trouble here? The only thing that scares me about Crest, your offense. You've got to have offense because we talking here, even with Dennis Davis and them on our post-game show, if you're going to play and you're going to play in high school football, you got to at least score, and this is me, at least 24 points or more.
Okay.
And that way your defense can hold somebody to 14, 17, and you still come out on top. Their offense still scares me again. I don't know whether they can do that. Will they win this one? Yeah. I think Crest wins this one handily. I got them winning 35-10 up there, but I still think they're going to have to give me more on offense.
I agree with that. Coach Evans, this is his second year at the helm. He's got a new quarterback. Actually, he's running a two-platoon quarterback. T.J. Ruff is one of those quarterbacks. Terry, if you've never heard this name, T.J. Ruff, kid can fly. He can fly. And that's a different element for Crest's offense they didn't have last year. Kid at quarterback they had last year, he was a big, like an offensive guard back there. Big old kid. He could throw it, but he wasn't really swift-footed, if you will. But Ruff adds another element. Back there with Jalen Graham, who is a running back. He's 6'1", 190 pounds. Big running back they've got back there. But I don't care what you got. You've got to be able to put it in the end zone.
Yes, you do.
And you made a great point. You can talk about their defense all day long, and I can stop you all day long, but I better be able to score a touchdown. I better be able to put points on the board in order to give my defense some help. So, yeah, I think going up the mountain, I think Crest will have no problem. Again, I agree, 35-10. I said 35-17, but yeah, it could be. But you've got to be able to score.
You do.
You got to be able to put the ball in. You got to be able.
That's the only thing that's scary to me still with them until you prove to me that you can score. I mean, you played South Point last week. Don't get me wrong, South Point's good, but I figured that game last week would have been in the 20s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of 13-7.
Absolutely, and that's from both sides. But Crest, they've got so many weapons. They have a lot of weapons offensively. You got to be able to utilize them and start using them, and I think they will. And so Crest heads up the mountain. Terry and I both picking the Chargers to win. So you can listen to that one on WOHS 1390 or 101.5 FM, or you can. Is that going to be on the YouTube? No, the audio is going to be on the YouTube channel, the Crest Chargers on YouTube. What are you going to say?
We can touch a base on a few other games that we do have in our areas, and one of them, we're glad Hunter's gone. He can listen to us while we make our picks. Fred T. Ford goes to Bandy's tonight. Last week, Fred T. Ford, 10 penalties. Had some personal foul calls in that game, more than one. You know, and when you're having those, discipline's got to come in.
Yes.
Coach Geddes is up there, and he's back. He had already coached up there one time. But you got to have discipline, on your team. And they're going to face a Bandy's team who last year had a running back, and everybody said, well, we go as that guy goes. Well, last week, Isaiah Gilchrist had 17 carries, 171 yards, and Josh Williams, the senior, had 7 carries for 93 yards. So maybe it won't be a one running back show this year. Maybe it's going to be 2, and that's going to be harder to handle to me when you're facing somebody like that. But I'm going to go Bandy's here with no trouble. I don't think Freddy Ford can play with them. Bandy's 35, Freddy Ford 14.
They scored 21 last week, 4 again against Maiden. Is that correct?
Yes.
21 points.
Well, 48 to 24.
24 points.
Yep.
So, again, Terry, I agree with you. As much as I would love to pick Ford, you got to pick Bandy's in this one. And for a simple fact, I don't care how good you are, you got to put a handle. You got to get a handle on them personal fouls. Your team discipline,
Yes.
you got it. That has to be the ground level. That has to be, because that will make your team better if you got good discipline. So I agree, Bandy's will easily win this game.
Next game, South Caldwell goes to Maiden.
Oh, wow.
South Caldwell scored 60 last week against a West Caldwell team.
Yeah.
But this year making a trip over to play a Maiden team. Both teams 1-0. 4A against a 2A. What do you think?
Well, again, it's Maiden, and Maiden's a tough, and they're playing at Maiden. That's going to be a tough game for anybody. Really, I don't care how good you are to go up there and play. But again, South Caldwell scoring 60 last week against West Caldwell. Okay, that's great. You've shown that you can put points on the board, but it probably against a very weak team. Yeah. Probably against the middle school teams, you want to be honest. So you're now playing big boy football. All right, so let's see what you can do now. Yeah, you got 1 win. Hope that helps you get in the playoffs, but you're not going to pick up second win this week. Maiden easily. I'm going to say Maiden 49-7 over South Caldwell.
I'm going to take you the same way, and I think Maiden beats them too. I think it's going to be closer though.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I got 35-28. Maiden pulls off a victory. Next game we go to, and Shannon's been wanting this game, so I'm going to give it to him. Thomas Jefferson against the Hickory Hawks. There we go.
So Hickory Hawks is Terry's favorite team in the world, whether he wants to admit that or not. But Thomas Jefferson comes in the first game of the year. Last week they had some insurance troubles with that I found out about the school they were playing, which I think is hilarious. But Thomas Jefferson, man, they got 12 returning starters. Coach Cash is what is it? Oh, okay, I thought it was in radio. Coach Cash, he's building something up there. He really is. And just looking at some of their players they have returning, one guy's name's Colby Silva. He's a defensive back. I go to church with him and his dad. His dad's Mount Silva, and I told him I'd give him some shout-out time on here. But Colby Silva, a defensive back. But look at their wide receivers, Terry. They got a kid named Shamar Petty, 6 foot, 140. He's a senior. Okay, little lanky kid. But then they got one kid named Dakota Twitty, a sophomore, 6'3", 175, and he's already getting looks from big-time schools. These are weapons.
Yes,
These are weapons. They lost McMullen's kid at quarterback last year. I don't know who they're replacing him with this year, but you've got weapons around you to groom a young quarterback. They've got a pretty decent offensive line, so I don't think they're going to have any trouble with the Hickory Hawks Christian private school from Hickory. They're from the Lenore area, wherever they're from. I think it's going to be a total blowout, at least 56-0, and it probably could be worse.
Okay, well, I'm about on the same level with you. I got 48-7.
48-7.
Thomas Jefferson.
There you go.
Well, another game we'll look at will be Pine Lake Prep, who pulled off a big 46-0 win last week against Lake Norman Charter, who was destroyed by South Lake Charter last week. But South Lake Charter's pretty good.
They're pretty good. Yeah,
Yes.
they're pretty good. Pine Lake Prep, man, they're in that conference with Cherryville, with Mountain Island Charter, Bessemer City, and Thomas Jefferson. So Pine Lake Prep, maybe stretching their legs a little bit and saying, hey, look, we can play with the big dogs here. But again, they're playing a team. This is a game that I've said this last year, and I'll say it again. This is one of those games you better win, because this game can come back and bite you somewhere along the way, and especially if you're looking at records and everything else. So I don't think Pine Lake. I don't think they're going to have a problem. At 42-0, and again, I don't know much about them, but I'm just saying these are the games that you're supposed to win, and you better win them. So that's my view.
And I'm going to take Pine Lake Prep too. I got them 31-14. I'm going to take another stab at some of our conference championships from around our area. And as we come into these year, I always say if you want to pull for underdogs out there, pull for one of these teams. Drone, Highland Tech, Lake Norman Charter, North Lincoln, almost had one last year, Patton, Pine Lake Prep, RS Central, Stuart Kramer, St. Stephen's, and West Lincoln. those teams have no conference championships allied to their name, since 1972.
Wow.
You take the teams that only have one, West Iredell, Cherryville, and Community School of Davison. Teams with two, Forest View, North Gaston, Bunker Hill, and Chase. Then you go to three with Fred T. Ford and East Gaston, and the list goes up all the way up to Shelby, who leads the way with 25 conference championships. Closest one to Shelby in our area that we watch is South Point, who has 21. Maiden has 20. Newton Conover with 19. Crest comes in with 18. So if you want to pull for an underdog, take one of these teams that's down on the bottom. Hopefully they're going to have a year. When you look down through it, you can say Pine Lake Prep is 1-0 on the year, or Central 1-0, Stuart Kramer 1-0, West Lincoln 1-0 on the year.
Can't win them all unless you win the first
That's
one.
it.
So they're ready to rock and roll. So we got about a minute left, Terry. So let's talk about again. We did this last week. Is there any games up here that you looking at that could be one of those trap games? Maybe, in your opinion. I know I'm putting you on the spot here. We got
Yeah, that's right.
we got about a minute left, so we'll do this real quick.
Trap games?
Trap game. You don't know who they're playing next week, but one of these games they're supposed to win, but they could easily lose.
And I guess that would be AC Reynolds and Shelby. Be careful. I don't know what AC Reynolds is going to bring to go up against you. I do know they pass. Just hope you got the weapons to protect.
Yeah, and that was going to be my game as well, because again, maybe they can mirror you, and if one of those games, hey, we won. We should have won last year. Well, should have done a lot of things last year. A lot of people should have, but you didn't. They lost. Shelby lost there up in Asheville. So yeah, that's it. So we're through here for the Witherspoon Insurance Agency pregame show, and we're going to send it out to your. Wherever you're listening to, you're going to go to your game, and we want to wish those guys best of luck on a great game.
Thank you to Mitchum's Kitchen.
Thank you to Mitchum's Kitchen. And, hey, after the games, come back here, and we'll have the post-game show, and it'll be a fun time for everybody. So for Terry Reinhardt, I'm Shannon Allen, and Calvin Hastings. Is that JP ever in the booth as well? Is he in there? JP?
Andre's here
Andre's here. Yeah, he rolled in after I ate his hush puppies, so we're good to go. We're good to go. So, hey, have a good night, have a good weekend, happy Labor Day, and God bless.
Since 1986, Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby has been serving families across Shelby and Cleveland County. And today, Wayne Witherspoon continues the tradition of bringing you the best insurance at the best possible price, with names like The Hartford, Safeco, Progressive, National General, and Travelers. Drop by the office today at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby and talk with one of their friendly hometown agents. Witherspoon Insurance Agency, your independent insurance agency since 1986.
Napa know-how.
Napa Auto Parts in Cherryville specializes in helping you with your hydraulic hose needs. When you break that hydraulic hose, why drive to Charlotte or Gastonia when they can be repaired or made up right in Cherryville? We have the 2-wire and 4-wire hydraulic hoses, from the small farm tractor to the large excavator. Come by and see the hydraulic specialist.
Napa know-how.
Your Napa store, Cherryville Auto and Truck Parts, Highway 150 West in Cherryville.
The station everyone at work can agree on.
All my coworkers love it.
101.5 FM and 1390 AM. WOHS Shelby, the boss.
All right, it's 2 minutes after 7 o'clock, and getting ready for our high school football broadcast game of the week. Tonight, it's going to be the Crest Chargers taking on the TC Roberson Rams. So we will join the pregame show with Andy Foster, Tim Foster, Robbie Roop-Oop-Be-Doop, all in progress. So let's send it out to TC Roberson for Crest and the Rams. The Chargers and the Rams tonight on WOHS.
On at TC Roberson. And Rob, a little bit later on in our pregame, we'll be naming our West End Sales of Vail player to watch. A lot of candidates here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of candidates tonight. We're going to take a look at both offensively and defensively. Who could be a difference maker tonight for the Chargers?
More of our stadium pregame show from Asheville right after this 3-minute break on KTC.
Buying a home can seem like a daunting task, but it's really not with Homestar Financial. With a short phone call, we can get you pre-approved. Once pre-approved, you're free to shop for the home of your dreams. At Homestar Financial, we can tell you the price or payment range that you qualify for. Your realtor will appreciate that you took the time to get pre-approved. So call me today. Let's make buying a home a dream come true. With Homestar Financial, it's quick and easy with no surprises at closing. Call today.
Do you know what Putnam Distributor sells? Auto parts, truck parts, stuff for all sorts of equipment, plus 25 brands of motor oil, hydraulic fluids, filters, batteries, even nuts and bolts, and all at low, low prices. Putnam Distributors is located in downtown Patterson Springs, just 5 minutes from Kmart and the Cleveland Mall. Go south on Highway 226 or Highway 180 and just follow the signs. Putnam's prices are low on everything and for everybody. Call 704-487-9395 or visit them online at PutnamDistributors.com. The Roundup store in Shelby is now your brand new Festool dealer in this area. Festool brings you 90 years of perfection. With Festool, your tools are always in good hands. From drills to screwdrivers to dust extraction, also sawing, routers, and more. And all with a 3-year comprehensive warranty. Buy with confidence. Buy a Festool tool today. Now available at the Roundup store, Highway 74 Bypass, East End, Shelby. Buy here, pay here at SNR Auto Sales in Shelby. Susie and Richie Knipe says now's the time to come in and save with down payment starting at $9.99. That's right, only $9.99. Come see the selection: Hondas, Chevrolets, Fords, Nissans, Kia, Lexus, Volkswagen, Dodge, and even a Hummer, plus trucks too. Be another satisfied customer today. Buy here, pay here at SNR Auto Sales. 411 South Post Road in Shelby. Call 704-487-0570 or go online at srautosales.com. Come see the all-new Professional Pharmacy, now in the new location at 128 North Main Street in Bowling Springs. Come shop their newer and larger pharmacy showroom and use their convenient drive-through window. And as always, you'll receive friendly hometown service. Since 1998, Professional Pharmacy in Bowling Springs has been providing you with efficient and fast service to meet all of your medication needs. Make the all-new Professional Pharmacy your pharmacy. Now in the new location at 128 North Main Street in Bowling Springs. And be sure to like them on Facebook too. Call 704-434-9897 today. Now's the time to buy your new Kubota from Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Right now, pay zero money down. Get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Come on in now for all the details. All for good on the Kubota BX Series, the Kubota B Series, the Kubota L Series, and the Kubota MX Series tractors. Again, zero money down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Get your new Kubota today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain.
Welcome back to Asheville and T.C. Robertson High School, getting you ready for Crest and T.C. Robertson tonight right here on KTCBroadcasting.com. And welcome in again to our radio audience on 101.5 FM, 1390 AM. Tim Foster, Rob Roop, Trey Albright on stats tonight. Andy Foster not with us in the booth, but he was able to sit down with head coach Nick Edens a little bit earlier today. And his weekly pregame interview, of course, it's brought to you by Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency of Bowling Springs. Talk about the win over South Point last week and look ahead to tonight's opponent, T.C. Robertson. Here's Andy and head coach Nick Edens.
Our weekly visit with Coach Edens is brought to you by Maxwell Hamrick Insurance Agency in Bowling Springs and Shelby. And the Chargers opened the season on great start last Friday night, 13-7 victory over the Red Raiders of South Point. And anytime you beat a South Point team, you've had a pretty good night, Coach.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I was very excited, still very excited about that win over South Point with us having such a young team. And we battled through a lot of adversity. I think it was very important this season with the young team to get some wins early and get some confidence going, because we are talented, but we are very young, and you know, you want to build that confidence. I think the kids will play better the more confidence they have.
Game kicked off about 35 minutes late due to lightning in the area, and it seemed like the humidity jumped to the moon after 8 o'clock the other night.
The humidity was high. I think our kids, I was really proud of our kids. We had a few cramping issues. None of them were laying on the field. Our trainer, she says she ain't going to go out there and get them if they're cramping because they're not taking care of their body. So they made it to the sidelines, and all of them were able to get back into the game. South Point had some cramping issues, so I guess they can't really call us the crampers anymore when they're the ones doing the same thing. But I was proud of our kids dealing with that high humidity, and our training staff. Miss Byerly does a fantastic job getting our kids ready to play.
And getting back to the game, defensive side of the ball, as you mentioned, a great effort, and it started up front with Tank and those guys. Eli Hall, a youngster, with a great game for you.
Yeah. Chris Richardson played a fantastic game. He was our defensive player of the week, and we expect that.